Hey, what's up guys? So as you guys know, GoPros are super versatile cameras, right? I'm sure you've seen all the YouTube videos with them being used in all sorts of crazy situations. What about using one as a dash cam? You know, it's super easy to grab one of these, grab a suction cup mount, and just toss it up on your windshield and record your drives. I'm actually recording this video on a GoPro that's suction cupped into my car here. And in this video, I want to talk about using a GoPro specifically as a dash cam. They are really versatile cameras, but I've noticed that there's some limitations that you'll run into if you try to actually use one of these as a dedicated dash cam. There's two primary issues. The first one is you're going to manually have to start and stop your camera every time you get in the car and start driving, or when you finish driving. There's no way to automate that process. The second thing is if you're going to be driving for hours and hours on end, eventually your memory card is going to get full, and well, then what happens? The camera just stops recording and you have to go in and erase old footage and that kind of stuff. Now, there's actually two good workarounds for these issues that I want to share with you. The first one that I want to share is if you already have a GoPro and you're like, I don't want to buy another camera, I want to use this as my dash cam. There's an accessory that's sold by a company called CamDo, and it's basically a backpack that attaches to the back of the GoPro camera itself, and it controls the camera and adds some additional functionality to take your GoPro and add that extra dash cam functionality that you would want that GoPro themselves has not actually built into their camera. The second thing that you could do is, well, you could just get a dedicated dash cam itself, and instead of using a GoPro as a dash cam, you can get a dedicated dash cams, and there's reasons to do this as well. And in this video, I want to go over the different options, you know, whether you're going to do an accessory, or maybe just use a GoPro on its own, or get a dedicated dash cam. So to start us off, let's talk about what some of the limitations are of the GoPro that kind of prevent it from being a really good dedicated dash cam. There's two primary issues. The first one is the inability to automatically start up and start recording when you start your car, and then once you're done driving to automatically stop and shut down. That's actually what dash cams do. I'll go ahead and show you with this guy. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and plug in the camera, kind of simulate turning on the car, right? You'll see the camera's going to go ahead and turn on, and then it's going to start recording for me. Awesome. Drive, drive, drive. When I'm done driving, I turn off the car. I'll simulate that just by unplugging the power cable, and you'll see the camera's going to stop recording, and then it shuts itself off. Awesome. With the GoPro, we don't have that ability. We can add that feature with the backpack that I just showed you, and I'll show you that in just a second. Before I do that, the second issue that we've got with the GoPro is if you're going to be using it as a dedicated dash cam, your memory card, depending on video size and quality and the card of your size, or the size of your card, it's going to allow you to record for a couple hours, but then what? What happens when the card gets full? Well, with the GoPro, it's just going to stop recording, and it's not going to allow you to record any further. You have to go out and format your memory card or delete some old footage, etc. With the dash cam, it functions a little bit differently. The idea with the dash cam is because it's designed to record for hours and hours and hours endlessly on your windshield, what it's going to do is when the memory card gets full, it starts overwriting the oldest, kind of least important footage. So once you get newer footage, all the older footage starts getting deleted automatically to make room for the new footage. There's also some extra stuff like let's say there's something interesting that you see on the road and you're like, that's really cool, I don't want that to accidentally get overwritten. You could maybe press a button on your camera and say, hey, that was a really important event, save this clip, and it'll record, you know, maybe a minute before the button press and a minute after, or whatever, depending on the model of the camera. There's also things like G sensors, where if the camera gets bumped, it's like, oh, that was important, don't overwrite that period of time, I want to save that clip. That could have been an accident or whatever. That can also be triggered by, you know, speed bumps or potholes or even those bumps in the road, so there's sensitivity adjustments and whatnot. But either way, the main thing is the fact that when the memory card gets full, the dash cam is not going to stop recording. It can record forever, effectively, even with the full memory card, and that's really helpful. GoPro does kind of have a workaround for that, kind of, sort of. It's not the same, but I want to talk a little bit about what the solution is for that if you want to use your GoPro as a dash cam. All right, so starting off with the automatic startup and shutdown with your car. The way the GoPro works normally is when you want to start recording, you press and hold the power button like this. The camera's going to wake up, and then you press the button on top here to start recording. Once you're done, press the button again on top to stop, and then if you don't want to kill your battery, press and hold the power button here, and the camera's going to shut off. So you've got 2 button presses to start and another 2 button presses to stop. There's a way to improve that. It's the 1 button feature, and it kind of combines those two. You have to go into the menu settings and enable it. Basically what it does is you press and hold the power button, it'll start up the camera and then begin recording automatically. Then once you're done, you press and hold the power button again for a couple seconds, the camera stops recording, and then it shuts itself off so it doesn't kill your GoPro battery. That's cool, but it still requires manual user intervention, right? You still have to go in and say, you know, start and stop at the beginning and end of every drive, and that's something that sometimes you're just not going to bother, or maybe you'll just flat out forget or whatever. And again, a camera is something that you always want to just have running in the background, and ideally we'll want to do that automatically. So let's talk about how we can actually automate that. Now, the way the automation process works is there's an accessory called CamDo, and they sell basically a backpack that clips on to the back of your GoPro camera like this. So we clip it on, and then this is going to control your camera and handle the automatic startup and start recording, and then once you're done driving, it's going to tell your GoPro to stop recording and then to turn itself off. It's really nice. It's only compatible with a couple different GoPros. This is a Hero 3 Plus Black Edition. It's also compatible with the Hero 4 Silver and the Hero 4 Black, but not the other cameras like the Hero 5 or the Hero Sessions. And they have a full compatibility list on their website, but really it's just those three models. Now, the idea is there's the communication pins right here, and then there's communication pins right here, and that's how it actually talks to the GoPro. Now, on the side of this backpack here, you've got a couple different ports. Now, what they're for, one of them is for programming. Like, there's a couple different modes here, and it comes with a little controller. You can take this and plug it in, and you just press the button a couple times to choose what mode you want. There's 8 different modes, and things like if you want it to, you know, automatically start up your camera when it gets powered. Do you want it to start recording too? Do you want it to wait a minute before it tells your camera to start recording? Do you want it to shut down your camera when you're done or not? So there's a lot of different options. The one that I want is I want it to automatically start up and start recording. When I'm done and it loses power, stop recording and turn off my camera. And actually, let me go ahead and show you that. So I've got everything plugged in right now. There's actually 2 USB power cables going into the GoPro. One goes into the GoPro itself, so the GoPro can be charged while you're driving. The other power cable goes into the CamDo backpack itself, so this guy can sense when your car is turning on and turning off, right? Now the idea is when you turn your car on, let's go ahead and simulate it. I'll just plug in the power cable real quick, and you'll see it's going to go ahead and start recording. Oh, I had the camera on. It'll turn it on for you too. When you are done driving, I unplug it, it'll go ahead and stop like this, and then it's going to turn off my camera for me too. And because I had it turned off, let's go ahead and just do it again, or I had it turned on. If the camera's turned off, we plug it in like this. Notice it's going to go ahead and turn on my camera for me, and then begin recording. So pretty nice. This is going to handle that automation capability. And so you're pretty much going to need this backpack in order to handle that whole automation process. On their website, they also have a kit available for the mounts, you know, the cables. They've got this, you know, like 2-port cigarette lighter charger thing, so you can plug it in for both your dash cam or for the GoPro as well as for the backpack. So they have all the cables and all that kind of stuff you need, but it basically comes down to this backpack thing. Now, the way that it's designed, it's kind of feels like it was made in a 3D printer. I think that it was. The texture on it feels kind of papery or something. It's not bad or anything, but it does feel kind of light and thin. It feels like it was made in a 3D printer, but a pretty cool accessory. It retails for 119 bucks to pick up this guy. Now, for 119 bucks, I think that's a good way to, you know, if you have a GoPro already and you're like, well, I don't want to necessarily buy another camera, I just want to add the additional functionality. That's a cool way of doing it. However, I'm not necessarily sure if that's the best way. To be perfectly honest, I don't use my GoPro with this guy very much. What I do is when I need a truly dedicated dash cam, I'm actually using a dedicated dash cam, and there's, you know, the benefits that I talked about, like, you know, the overriding footage thing and the, you know, automatic startup and shutdown, and then it leaves my GoPro free for other things, and I can use it for other purposes, you know. But if you already have a GoPro and you don't necessarily want to get a dedicated dash cam, I think this is a really cool option. It's cool to see fun stuff being made like this. I actually reached out to the company because I was like, this looks like an awesome product. It's something that I'm actually interested in because I'm using GoPros in the car all the time, and I wish there was a good way to automate it, you know? So I reached out to them. They sent me one of these for free so that I can make this video and show all this to you guys. I do get to keep it. They're not paying me. I'm not getting compensated in any way. They just sent it to me so that I can show you guys how all this works. So it's a pretty cool project. I'll put a link down in the video description if you want to get one of these where you can get it. For me personally, I would rather have a dedicated dash cam, I just put it in my car and it's always recording. And again, I have my GoPros free for other purposes. I've also found there's other benefits like the being able to easily mark footage. With GoPro, actually, there is a way where you can kind of work around that, and what it's called is the looping feature. Now, this is going to have to do with the second issue that the GoPro has, where if the memory card gets full, the GoPro is going to stop recording. And what it's going to do then is just say, hey, we're not going to allow you to record anymore. Sorry, you're going to have to delete old footage or format your memory card or in some way make space. It can't handle that for you automatically. With this guy, it can do that. It's just going to keep recording and start overwriting your old footage, right? With the GoPro, however, there is kind of a workaround for it, and it's called looped recording. The idea is instead of recording forever and saving everything that you record until you hit stop, you can set it to save only the most recent period of time. Like, let's say, if I'm going to drive for an hour, I only want to save the last 5 minutes of the recording. So if you're out driving somewhere and then something interesting happens on the road, you just press the stop button and then it's going to save the last 5 minutes of your drive and delete everything else, which I found super helpful. That's a great way to not have a whole bunch of unnecessary footage and gigs of, you know, memory card space being taken up on your video card or on your memory card. So I actually really like that feature and I use it all the time. It's called the looping feature. There's other options too if you want to save the past, 20 minutes or hour or even max to say just record forever, and then if you, kind of like a dash cam, if you start getting full, well, just start deleting the old footage. That actually works pretty similar to a dash cam, except for the fact that once the memory card is full, it can't delete recordings from a previous recording session. It can only delete recordings and overwrite the older footage from this particular recording. So the next time you get in your car, if the memory card is full, it can't start do the looping thing because it says I don't have any room to start doing the recordings and I'm not willing to delete any of your older footage, so I'm sorry, I'm not going to record. So if you want something as a permanent installation for, constantly starting and stopping when you get in and out of your car, I don't think a GoPro is a great solution. If you're willing to kind of manually handle the memory card stuff with the videos and format your card periodically, you can make it work. And if you get an accessory like this, that will help with the startup and shutdown. You will have 2 power cables coming out of here, so that's something to be aware of. As opposed to like most dash cams, you only have to run 1 cable, just a power cable and it's all integrated. So it's definitely a solution. I think it's a little bit of a compromise, and I guess it's best for people who say, well, I have a camera and I just want to use my existing camera. I don't want to buy a whole new camera. If that's the case, you can get something like this. If you don't need the automation capabilities, you can just take this, throw it on a windshield, start and stop recording. Cool, plug it into your cigarette lighter plug, and now you've got power, So it definitely can still do the job. But if you're looking for something that's truly a dash cam, I think it's best to get a dedicated dash cam. I'm constantly testing and reviewing those, as you guys know. If you want to see my favorites so far that I've reviewed so far, go to vortexradar.com/dashcams. I'll put the link down in the video description, and it'll go over my favorite dash cams that I've tested with different price points, different features, if you want 1 camera or also a second one in the back, all that kind of stuff. So if you want a dedicated dash cam, I think that's the way to go. But if you have a GoPro like this and you just want to, stay with your 1 single camera, I think that's a cool accessory, is to get this guy. So a big thanks to CamDo for providing this for me. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. Other than that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.